And it is officially training camp week here for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, as we're getting closer right now to the start of the regular season here and the 102nd season here of the National Football League right now. And good evening, everybody. I'm Charles Prodigy Richey here, getting ready to get things started right now as we are looking for another campaign right now for the Steelers to be in playoff form and try and get that seventh Lombardi for their franchise. And some very headline stuff going into it right now. We're also 3 weeks, a little less than 2.5 weeks away from the Pro Football Hall of Fame right now, watching with four inductees going in the Canton for class 2020, 2021. And also, too, Vince Williams, too, announcing his retirement after 8 seasons right now playing with the Steelers. How much will that be affected this year? Find out where to get into that. And also, too, in the last 2 days, the Steelers, they did sign Melvin Ingram right there. They brought him in for a tryout. He has been signed to a 1-year deal. And how much the question is this bag will it put on competition for a guy like Alex Highsmith to play opposite side starting of TJ Watt? And speaking of TJ Watt, still no deal yet on the table. Still a lot of people on the fence right now. Heard many people. One guy on Bob Pompiani of KDKA and 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh seems to think that a deal will get done for TJ Watt. He has no hesitation that it will. The only question that's going to be is, will it get done at the start or during training camp or on the eve of the start of the regular season? So we got a lot of questions right there. TJ Watt, he's definitely going to be the most intricate piece of the puzzle. Just trying to figure out how to move that, how to be creative with that salary right there for years to come. Definitely a lot of moving pieces they got to figure out. But other than that, we're getting ready to kick things off just momentarily here. Once again, if you guys want to follow me on social media, you can definitely do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Prodigy Richey. I mainly tweet at MassSteelCGR on Twitter. And for the Men of Steel podcast on Instagram, it is at Men of Steel Nation right now. And before we get into some Steelers football right now, I don't know if anybody got a chance to see the NBA Finals. NBA Finals has just gotten wrapped up right now. Congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo right now. A guy who a lot of people have been stating he has not chosen to go another team and chase NBA championship rings. He instead signs his Supermax contract deal to stay with the Milwaukee Bucks, which is in his 8th season. The Bucks management were able to pick up a key piece in acquiring Drew Holiday to add in with Giannis and Chris Middleton. And they actually start off the series down 2-0. Later turned into a delayed sweep by the Milwaukee Bucks, winning 4 straight. Some pivotal matchups right there. I mean, pivotal mistakes, I should say, by the Suns in there. More particularly, I think if one game that's going to stand out for me, it'll definitely be Game 4, where Devin Booker had about 5 personal fouls in the 4th quarter with a lot of time left to go in the ball game. It was around the 6-minute mark. A lot of people felt he should have been fouled out by that point. But, I mean, they were in command, 9-point lead over the Milwaukee Bucks. You figure the Suns were going to go up 3-1 at that point, but instead the Milwaukee Bucks end up tying the series, taking it back to Phoenix on Saturday night. And around the 2nd quarter, 16-point lead slowly got chipped away and evaporated, which the Milwaukee Bucks were able to come back and win that game and was able to finish the deal in Milwaukee. And I was telling a lot of people too, when you look at the NBA Finals right now, and you think about sports in general, especially the NBA as of late. I mean, the theme for the last decades we know has been a lot of players. If things have not been satisfactory with their current team, they would leave to go somewhere else, try and join and come together with another superstar, team up, and win a championship that way. It has been happening for a long time, but to a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, he becomes the second player right now in the last 5 years since LeBron James to win a championship for the franchise that's drafted him. And I mean, you gotta just sit back and really appreciate it. Let this sink in. I mean, you saw both fans right now getting into it, both fan bases, including the Valley and Phoenix right now. Doesn't seem to have like the most fortunate of luck when in the NBA Finals in particular. All three finals they lost were in 6 games. And once again, you just seem to scratch your head. I mean, is this really like a bad luck franchise in general? I mean, the biggest question is right now with the Bucks winning this championship, and of course the Suns right now. I mean, of course, a lot of people are like starting to look at the early odds-on favorite, who's got a chance of coming back to the finals next year. A lot of people will probably argue Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving and James Harden. I mean, James Harden, I mean, he didn't really do himself any favors by not getting himself in proper shape physically for his body. Had torn, I mean, he played for a torn hamstring, I believe it was. And of course, Kyrie Irving was hurt late in that series against the Bucks in the second round. And the Bucks were able to steal it in Game 7 in overtime in Brooklyn. There was one shot that Kevin Durant had, if not for the technicality of his shoe, his foot being on the 3-point line instead of, which could have been a game-winning 3-pointer, ended up being a tying basket for a 2-point shot. Skip Bayless was definitely very quick to point that out, and I must admit how different the fortunes would have been altered by that if that was stood as a 3-point play. I think that would have definitely been a game over. And then now you go into football right now too. I mean, bring it back to like the NFL, and you just continue to get reminded. Do some talent like pair together? Yes. I mean, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for the most part, as my one good friend that came out of the mic, Paulie C would tell me, is that a lot of the players for the Bucks that came together were pretty much almost like cast-offs. You saw like the Dominican Sue, who was with the LA Rams as their defensive tackle a little over 2 years ago, coming fresh off the heels of losing in Super Bowl 53 to Tom Brady and the New England Patriots for their 6th Super Bowl. What winds up happening, he goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, signs a deal with them, and in his second season, thanks in large part to Tom Brady coming into town, deciding to leave the New England Patriots and want to see how much further his career and his winning can carry on. And it so happens, very first season, win the Super Bowl as a wild card team. I mean, he's able to lure guys and recruit guys along to come join him, such as his running mate, Rob Gronkowski. He lures him out of retirement. Was able to persuade the Bucks to get Leonard Fournette away from the Jaguars, who I think was released. Then, of course, you had later on, too, Antonio Brown, another guy who's having some off-the-field issues for the last couple of seasons, which really went out of hand 2 years ago. And where he didn't really see much, except maybe a fraction or just a few moments, one game, and that was against the Miami Dolphins, I believe it was. So, I mean, he's able to join Tom Brady and the Bucks, makes his debut with the team, I believe, in the game against New Orleans Saints on Sunday Night Football, where they got blown out. But look and behold, with a team like Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which, by the way, who had their White House visit yesterday with Joe Biden, or I think it was a couple days ago. But when you look at it right there, I mean, Antonio Brown, who came into a situation right now, the guy who Tom Brady still believed in, I mean, for the most part, really felt a connection there when he was with his brief time there with the Patriots. All the chaos that went on, how he backlashed at Robert Kraft after being let go. Like I said, he made his debut again when they were playing against New Orleans Saints, where they got blown out 38-3. But then from that point forward, too, the Buccaneers, from that point on, they went 5-2 to finish out the regular season, including 4-0 in the playoffs. I mean, to win a Super Bowl. And I think the sweetest victory outside of that, too, I think the victories, I had to list them in order. Obviously, being the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I mean, it was definitely like in that rank of the pecking order. But then I'll put number 2 behind there. Of course, I will probably go with Drew Brees and the Saints. I mean, yeah, they had to beat the Packers to get to the Super Bowl. But the way the New Orleans Saints was able to lock down on this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team defensively and was able to, get after Tom Brady and be a little bit physical in their own rights. For the Bucs to do what they did, I mean, regardless, I mean, in the playoffs, they got even with them. They were able to win that game 30-20, 10 points in that contest. And where you would see the Buccaneers really start to slowly chip away. I mean, in the second half alone of that game, I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they outscored the New Orleans Saints. Actually, they shut them out, I should say. Excuse me. They shut out the New Orleans Saints in the second half. They only come up with 17 unanswered points when they're trailing by a touchdown. They have winning that game 30-20. Then to go on the road in Lambeau Field against a top scoring attack in the Packers. Also a very respectable defense they had. And right there, I mean, a lot of people have probably felt right there, that was like another nice little sample size right there. A Super Bowl prelude to see just let alone 2 of the top quarterbacks at that time in Tom Brady and, of course, Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers, his future is still unknown right now with the Green Bay Packers. It seemed like they tried offering him, from what I understand, a 2-year extension, which would have kept him an additional 5 years. But I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers wanted to stick around that longer. Still being upset with the fact that they selected his replacement. I mean, pretty much in his eyes, in his mind, and Jordan Love. And also, too, I mean, when you look at Aaron Rodgers right now, I mean, just about the respect factor. I mean, just how much is he just being silenced, not being cared about his input, of trying to do what's best for the Packers and his chances of winning our Super Bowl ring. And you look at guys around too. I mean, you look at a guy like Tom Brady, who when he goes to Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and for guys he's requesting to come join on his team, he pretty much gets what he wants. Was able to talk to Bucks and Bruce Arians and the front office into building this team around enough to win a Super Bowl championship. Then you look at a guy like Peyton Manning, who went over to the Broncos. I mean, pretty much about, I mean, like 10 years ago. I mean, he went over there. Well, no, 9 years ago, excuse me. But still, I mean, you look at everything right now, I mean, that has been happening around. And of course, you can understand the frustration right now. I mean, the Packers do not want to trade Aaron Rodgers, and it's driving Rodgers extremely up a wall right now, where he wants to take his time making his decision and what he feels right and getting himself together. I think it's just basically the fact that he wants not only to be a little bit more thought of and considered when it comes to making suggestions, but also to showing the respect factor and just realize I'm more than just your quarterback.